a different kind of video. So this is Crease Clinic. Okay, used in many TV shows as well as I was there. 1969. Haha. Since I have agoraphobia and didn't go to school, they thought it's best I go there on an adult basis. Really. Well, I had actually a lot of fun here. And had a lot of girlfriends. As well as total freedom to go into neighboring towns. As long as you're back by nighttime. So, as I progressed along in here, oh, had a lot of dates. In the center of the building, of course, is the office section, and we would actually go in there and sneak around. We knew how to pick the locks. And up on the top floor, in the center of this whole structure, which I'll be focusing more on West Lawn. The adventures begin there mostly, so this is my introduction building. Essendale, Riverview, check it out, internet, Google search. X-Files was filmed there, Fringe was filmed there, also Stargate SG-1. So I'm going to skip over this and go to the unique, weird place, West Lawn. Welcome to West Lawn. Built in 1915, I believe, or very long time ago. About 44 years abandoned building as well, as you can see here. Used in many TV shows. You'll see it in the X-Files, Fringe, and other places. So I got to stay here. A2 ward, A1 ward. Then for punishment, since I didn't go to school, still, I was sent to C4, the back ward, for a week and another time per month. I never gave in to going to school, so I got to see a lot of things and actual murders and things, which I consider murders, which the RCMP, I told them all about it. Got that staff fired, and they actually opened up the ward to female workers. Wow. Also had shock treatment and insulin shock, which did not work, and then eventually they called in specialists from England to simply, well, I gave demonstrations back then on A2 ward, a simple relaxation exercise where you lay down and relax and visualize the agoraphobia in your mind as non-threatening. So this was done over a period of time. Okay, so they had me on Valium, which they removed, and I requested it again. Good old Valium. Kind of made me relaxed, kind of thing, not that heavy dose. And that carried on all the way up to present times to Xanax, which I take now, but very small quantities. Anyway, back to West Lawn. Here we go. In this building, I had a lot of girlfriends, and I had up on the top story, let's go to the top story looking place. Okay, this is West Lawn still, and there's the top story, which was abandoned when I was there. Not abandoned really, it was just a closed ward with nobody up there, so I managed to pick the locks and move up there during the daytime and have fun up there and explore places and sleep if I wanted to take a nap. I had my girlfriends up there too. I had a lot of kinky, wild adventures up there in the long forgotten ward, which I wonder if there was anybody ever in there. Anyway, so as still being free to go anywhere I wanted to, go into Port Coquitlam, Ted's TV and radio shop, and I got electronic equipment, actually, which I dragged up into West Lawn, or the Riverview scrapyard. I patronized that and found a Wappler machine. And these radio pieces of gear and stuff were accumulating by my bed in a dormitory of 50 people. There was a stack at least 6 feet high against close to the window on the other side. Along with that, I acquired some pistols and rifles. Good, in the good old days, they didn't have to go through all the nonsense of carrying a federal firearms certificate. So that accumulated as well. Okay. And this could be verified by my lawyer, R. Flynn Marr, as possibly Constable Brookbank if he's still around. But these guns were then put in the dispensary because the patients were kind of nervous about it. So the guns went in the dispensary, and when I moved out of West Lawn, I took them with me. I had my dad pick up the radio gear as well as the long rifles. I kept one pistol because it's going to the Drexel Rooms, 5 West 18th Street, a very, very dangerous area to go until I moved to Lynn Valley, North Vancouver. So anyway, so I witnessed a lot in this building. I witnessed a judge who was a patient increase unit. Okay, had privileges to use the library, the Crease Clinic Library. And guess what? He hung himself from a steam pipe, and I was trying to break the door in with some heavy pieces of pipe and stuff. The staff came down with the keys and opened up. They gave a statement to the RCMP, which is probably located in a long, lost, forgotten file. But anyway, I go to the next picture. Oh, this is West Lawn, a picture perhaps quite a while ago. Hard to tell. But anyway, the other wards were unique. As I go visiting once in a while, I go to other places like Crease Clinic, the Crease Clinic Library, the consultation room where I took Marie to the psychotherapy room when we had wild SCX up there in Crease. So back to West Lawn, there was a lot of disturbed people in this building. I wasn't disturbed, I was kind of... The doctors just said, if you ever get bored of this place, let us know and we'll write out your paperwork and your... go, because, you know, you're not doing anything here much except doing this and that. Collecting things and carrying wapplers out the back steps of West Lawn into the dorm, along with some rifles. Oh, it was a hot day too, and I went for a dive in the fish pond. That was fun. But anyway, I had a lot of fun in this place. Okay? And witnessed a lot of things with a reporter to Constable Brookbank of the RCMP, who put me under protective custody because of the C4 ward. Staff would beat up the patients and kill them. I've seen a lot of stuff, so I've been around the block a few times. Anyway, it was an impressive place. Let's go to the next picture. Okay, somebody took pictures with a drone, and we're looking towards the C4 area. They had an open court too. This all they loved using steel with small window panes, kind of thing, and some with no window panes, so you get fresh air. And all that stuff. I sure learned a lot in these places. Man, oh man. As I had a lot of friends that were staff as well as patients. The staff would talk a lot about different things, such as, is the outside world insane or sane? What's the difference between here and there? But anyway, this was, for me, quite the adventure. On the west side of West Lawn building, they got rid of the small pane windows and put in big plate glass windows. I remember that because the dormitories had put all the beds in the center of the dorm while they were working on it. And I made myself a little hiding place in amongst all the beds. Dragging my radio equipment, the Wappler, as Bill McDonald will attest to that, who I'm still trying to get in contact with. So I had a lot of fun here. No regrets. Learned a lot about humans. This is where some of my characters, like, oh, you got a dime for the phone? I need to phone my mother. It's English. You'd always say you need a dime for the phone, and I met Jesus Christ, and I met all kinds of characters. Oddly enough, some of the businessmen would escape here to get rid of creditors, and they would get drunk. Oh, this is more in the crease unit, okay? I have a bunch of whiskey and stuff hidden away. Well, we got drunk on the chlorohydrate that was in the dispensary. Somebody stole it. Billy Ball stole a bottle of chlorohydrate, and we had Dixie cups. One good slug of that, man, you're off to Deep Space Nine. Heh? Oh, well, remembering the good old days at Essendale. Oh, let's see another. Here we have. Oh, this is Creek Clinic. Inside of it. The bottom floor area. Now in this whole complete structure they had West Lawn, Center Lawn, East Lawn. East Lawn was for the women and West Lawn for the men. Center Lawn was for out-of-town people. Creek Clinic was for the local people. Then they had Valley View where I worked at cleaning the floors. That's where the aged folks would go. They had the nurses station. They had North Lawn, which was the medical center, kind of like a regular hospital. Okay, across Lougheed Highway, they had Colony Farm, where they keep the psychopathic killers. Got to see that a few times with David Steele, the TV repair person for the whole complex. I was his apprentice, basically, and got to see psychopaths talk to them. And I got a real bad feeling from some of them. Well, this is the front entrance of Creek Clinic. This is being, as you can probably tell, this is for television. Just years later, when these buildings all became abandoned. The X-Files, Stargate SG-1, and many other TV shows like Fringe and all that were filmed on this land. And here is filming done at West Lawn Building. Spooky looking place, isn't it? Anyway, there was always breakfast, lunch, dinner, and cocoa time at 10 o'clock and then bedtime at 11. Cocoa time and sandwiches. Even on C4 ward, that was done. Wow. As well as A1 and A2. One of the windows in an abandoned area on the back of the building, it wasn't used, it was for storage. I had a piece of metal or something, and I was twisting on the bars, and the whole window gave away. That was weird. I remember doing that. And so, oops. I walked away. I don't know what's going on, kind of thing. And another time, Maria and I got locked in Crease Clinic's R recreational area room, bottom floor, with one of the snap lock doors. Nobody was around, so I took up some of the weight equipment and ran at the door with it, and the whole door went down with some bricks in the frame and everything, old kind of brittle wood. Boom! And Maria went for dinner, and we went for dinner, so didn't say anything about, ooh, wonder what happened there, you know, a few things like that. That was fun. Anyway, I don't think of anything of the tunnels. I had secret rooms in the tunnels. He used to have dumbwaiters, which are long forgotten about. Loading rooms and little private rooms, and we hide stolen stuff up in the steam pipes. Naughty John. Anyway, so moving along, I just here thinking about all this and called up my dad. I'm moving out, so went to see Dr. Slichter, Dr. Alice Kramer, who were there in charge and said, well, I'm bored. I guess I'll be leaving. And they wrote up my papers like, okay, here's money for you. Thank you. Caught the Pacific stage with my carry stuff. My dad got the other stuff. The radio gear and the guns and stuff. I just had clothing and a pistol and what else? And yeah, go to welfare. In downtown, Vancouver. And it's a video of it too. My God. I've seen it on YouTube, but I have it here. Because the news people interviewed me as I was waiting in the welfare line. So I stayed at the Drexel Room, 5 East, West Hastings, going to East or West, by Pigeon Park. I was on 4th floor. Oh my goodness. On the 4th floor. The Drexel Room with Roy Sharfel, who got me in, and Mr. King was in charge at the time. And I kind of enjoyed it in a weird way. Around the corner on Carroll Street was an old, and not antique, but a second-hand store, and I bought a 303 rifle for only $20. Can you believe it? A 303 mint condition, $30. Stuck that in upstairs in the Drexel Rooms. Looked at the newspapers every day for a room in Lynn Valley or North Vancouver somewhere, and I found one. Mrs. Murphy's, 1458 East 29th Street, North Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, $35 per month only. Got my welfare transferred over to North Vancouver. It was very easy in those days. They were very helpful in those days. I gotta find that video now, don't I? Wow. Anyhow, the Drexel Rooms, well, most of my day was taken up walking the streets, walking around, talking to people, and it was Easter time, went to the Easter dinner at the Salvation Army. I thoroughly enjoyed that whole adventure in the Drexel Rooms. Sleeping was easy. That's where I met the man that said, you got nice hangers. I said, you got really nice hangers, man. I want to come in my room. Oh, yeah. And let's just say he had a lot of fun with me, that's for sure. I had a lot of fun, you know what? Being so bloody sexual has its privileges. I forget the guy's name, but he make tea and coffee in the Drexel Rooms. And he wanted me to lay down and all this. La 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 la. Another time, it was an aggressive kind of character in one of the rooms, in the Drexel Rooms, who took something of mine and locked the door. Although the doors had padlocks all on the outside. But somehow he managed to lock it. I just kicked the door in and grabbed the stuff and said, what the hell do you think you're doing? Anyway, no problems. As time moved on, I got a black top cab and went to Mrs. Murphy's. Introduced myself. Still got a letter of recommendation. Still might have some of the old files. So, anyway. Okay, so I moved in. Then Mrs. Murphy said, well, you don't need to pay rent if you can handle taking care of electrical problems and other problems we run into. You can stay for free, so I did. Wow, man, I stayed there, I think 11 years. had a massive collection of firearms and guns and machine guns and radio gear, and that's where George Hathaway met me. And Alex Pizarro, Mel Winfield, and Canadian Broadcasting Company, and they're filming stuff. Had my gun adventures there too, with new gun laws. Pierre Elliott Trudeau was bringing in 78 film crews coming and going, and lawyers and gun collectors of Canada supported me, and it was incredible times. But so, met Hathaway, and it was time to move out. So, U.S. Army Intelligence Security Command and Hathaway and Los Alamos put me up in a building along with storage for all my other things. Just get the equipment out to demonstrate to Colonel Alexander the HFX stuff. Did that after maybe 4 or 3 months. I forget how many months. Also, that time my mother passed away by accident. Accidental drowning in the bathtub. Come on, I don't know what's going on. Anyway, I expected something weird like that would happen. Anyway, I moved to Burnaby, British Columbia, Canada. 3744 East Hazen Street, Burnaby, British Columbia. Set up a massive laboratory and progressed along. Anyway, so that's my West Lawn Crease Clinic adventure. Basically, carrying on into the Drexel Rooms, which is a red brick, horrible red brick building as well. So, oh no, I had a great time. I always have a good time, make the best out of the worst of situations. But anyway, there was a lot wrong in West Lawn. A lot of bad things happened to others that I reported all the time. As well as Hillside Unit. Well, what happened to Mr. Sabot? Oh, he didn't want to take his lithium carbonate for his depression. Poor guy went up in behind the woods and hung himself. And they're trying to cover it up, and I heard it all because I was sitting listening to Mr. Franklin, who was in head of Hillside at the time, and I reported all that to Constable Brookbank as well. So that's me. That's the whole 9 yards. Anyway, so just a short story on West Lawn and Crease. The best of times, the worst of times. Quite the adventure. I learned a lot about humanity there. Sometimes I'd be corrected in saying, well, this is not an insane asylum, it's psychological medicine. I've told that many times. Anyway, that's it for now.